Welcome to a brand new segment called Wargame News. February has been a great month for Wargames because we got 4 really interesting releases, DLC, multitude of demos to check out new games, and then something kind of special. It's not really a game, so stay tuned for that. Second Front came out just before February, but we'll put it in here anyway. It came out on 31st of January 2023, and it's a World War II turn-based strategy game. You can craft and share your own scenarios, and there are already 48 scenarios set in iconic locations. You can play as the German, Russians, or the good old Americans. There are over 40 infantry units. What I found really exciting about this game is the turn phase system. Essentially, each turn is split into different phases, and the phases are different for different factions. So there will be a one turn that's essentially strongly you, and then at the opposite is like strongly enemy turn, but you can still do this different things within the enemy turn. Really cool way is how the cover works in this game, and also there's a whole phase where you can like run without getting hit by the enemy. Heavy Arms Assemble World War II. This is a real-time combat strategy game played in World War II. What's interesting about this war game is that it has like a huge variety of like sub-features or like things that you can do in it, which we'll go into in a moment. I do want to say that the game is currently just in early access, so there might be some changes, and at least when I played it, which was very early in the early access, the English translation wasn't completely perfect. So let's first talk about the combat. The combat in this game is quite interesting. It's a real-time combat, but on top of that you have these cards which allow you to give extra ability to your units. At least it can be pretty huge. For example, it can speed up your unit, or it can make it almost invulnerable. It can also call for like an airstrike and adjust the morale of a unit, and etc. But this game shines more, I would say, outside of the combat, where you have these huge like base building parts. So essentially you're building your military base, but not only do you're setting up like what kind of regiments are you have, how are you training them, you have to build the right weapons for them, you have to get enough food for your people. You're also going to be establishing different decrees, assign different parts to like a tank, for example, to create like a special and unique type of a vehicle, and you can also like assign which regiments you want them to use which weapon. It's time to talk about the nuclear elephant in the room. Nuclear War Simulator, which came out on the 2nd February of 2023. Now, this is not a war game. This is detailed and realistic simulation and visualization of what would it look like if this was a nuclear conflict. Now, the fact that it's not a war game will be immediately evident once you start playing it, because it's not meant necessarily to be fun, but it's really interesting because it allows you to design these different scenarios, and you can like do different like population heat maps to see how much damage has been happened. You can add people and hide them in different types of like cars, have them just walking, have them hide in like bunkers, and see what kind of damage it does. You can either like control each sides of the conflict, or you can set up an AI to fight back. Now, for all the games mentioned so far, I have a Let's Play, so you can check that out if you're interested. Next up, we have Company of Heroes 3, which came out on the 23rd of February 2023. Company of Heroes 3 is a World War II war game that can be played in single player or multiplayer. In single player, there are 2 campaigns, the Italian campaign and the North African Corps. The Italian campaign is especially interesting because it has this really nice dynamic map, which is a feature that I absolutely love, where you can sort of decide like which cities you want to take over and where you want to attack like enemy companies and etc. But the heart of this game is the combat. Each unit has their own special abilities. You can hide inside buildings, you can breach buildings, you can use flamethrowers, you can run and take over abandoned weapons like anti-tank guns and etc., which is really, really fun, and the game is just really, really cool. Like the combat really is where it shines. I like it quite a bit. Next up, let's talk about some DLCs. So, let me ask you this. What is the most deadly weapon of antiquity. But answer me with the knowledge that if you fail, you must hit the subscribe or the like button. No, good guess, try again. Still nothing. It's the Speedy Chariot. So Field of Glory 2 is getting a brand new DLC, which is also its last DLC. And this DLC is called Swifter Than Eagles. And it extends Field of Glory 2 backwards to 2500 BC to 681 BC. So essentially to like the early Bronze Age and Middle Bronze Age. Now in total this DLC adds 19 new factions, 46 new units, 8 new epic battles, and 4 new historically based campaigns. If you're not familiar with Field of Glory 2, this is a wargame that's very focused on battle and on morale. Essentially, your goal is not to kill the enemy, but to lower their morale level enough to run away. And once you demoralize enough of the enemy army, you win. There's also a really big focus on like the terrain in this game and on like evasion and charging, flanking, attacking from behind, and etc. I will have a Let's Play for this DLC, and then I also have a variety of guides and Let's Plays for a similar game to this called Field of Glory 2 Medieval, which is a very, very similar game, except it's set in the medieval times. So you can check that out if you're interested as well. Alright, that's all for the DLCs. Let's jump into demos. Broken Arrow has released a demo during the Steam Game Next Fest, which allowed you to play one battle. Now this is, by the way, a large-scale real-time wargame set in World War II, as most of them have been. It has 2 main factions, American and Russians, and more than 100 units. A couple of unique things about this game are the ability to go inside buildings, destructible environment, and customization of units. Also, a really cool thing here is, for example, if a vehicle gets destroyed, the infantry inside it actually stays alive, and then you can control it as a regular infantry, which I thought was really, really cool. Next up, let's talk about the real-time war game that I'm the most excited to play, and that's called the Great War Western Front. They also released a demo during the Steam Game Demo Festival, and they're going to come out into full release on 30th March 2023. Now, this is a World War I war game, not World War II, and it has some really amazing features. My favorite feature of this game is this strategic map that allows you to sort of decide like which hexes you want to attack. You're going to be handling espionage, technology, and more. The combat is played in real time and has a really fun pre-combat phase. We're going to be building trenches and etc. Now, I really, really like this game, but I already talked about it a lot in my other videos. So if you want to know more, you should definitely check out either my Let's Play or my wishlist or pass, where I give you a quick overview of the game, or my comparison with Company of Heroes 3. Next up, let's talk about Total Tank Generals. Now, Total Tank Generals actually has a demo that you can play right now. It's also coming out on the 30th of March 2023, and this is actually a World War II turn-based war game. And a really fun feature in this game is the ability to sort of stack multiple units in the same hex. And this is quite interesting because you're still attacking, in most cases, just a single unit, but a certain artillery has ability to attack everything in the hex. So it can be quite risky, but it can also be quite useful. Now, another intriguing feature of this game is that they're going to be presenting the war from the perspective of the most famous generals. I'm not quite sure what that means in a practice, because what I played of the demo was mostly focused on actual battle, but I am quite curious to see that. They also offer support for modding and map making, so if you want to make your own battle, you can do so. And the game is meant to be played in single player. Alright, let me know if you enjoyed this type of new segments. I know you have a lot of segments lately, but you gotta try everything. Throw it on the wall and see what sticks, I guess. And you can click to the right to watch Let's Plays of some of these games that I have mentioned.